everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Local Influencers Podcast. On today's podcast, I am joined by Rocky, the DJ. Rocky is a local DJ, also MC. He is at Gemini here in Corpus Christi, I believe, on Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday, if I'm not mistaken. Rocky, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
For sure.
Pleasure.
So, yeah, man. I followed you on social media because I saw that we had you came up like on my kind of Instagram's version of like mutual friends, like suggested
Right.
follows, and I just thought I listened to some of your Mixcloud stuff, and I was like, oh
You
man, this
did?
guy's yeah. I
I
listened to like
appreciate that. Thanks, man.
I listened
Yeah.
to your Halloween
Thank you.
one. There was one that you were on Hudson 95's 5 o'clock traffic jam, which is like one of my
Yeah.
favorite things to listen to. I listened to
Right on.
that, and so yeah, so I was like, yeah, I gotta have this guy on. So again, thanks for being here, man. So
Thanks for having me.
for sure. So I always like to get started from the very beginning. Rocky, so how did you know that being DJ or an MC in the entertainment business is something that you wanted to do, or is it something that you kind of just fell into?
Well, it's a little bit of both. My father was a DJ. My grandfather was a DJ. So I'm a third generation DJ, and yeah. So I guess when I was younger, I mean, the influence was always there. Definitely. The DJ thing, the origin for that, I mean, I have to be my dad. My dad put me onto a lot of music, and he was always doing gigs when I was a kid and stuff like that. So it just rubbed off on me. But I've always had, well, I've always had this thing for entertainment. I've always had a lot of respect for entertainers and stuff like that. That, and then I grew up in Phoenix, Arizona. So, my dad had a heavy influence. My dad split some point when I was like 10, 11 years old, right? So I spent a lot of time in the car with my mom, and she wasn't really big on the DJ thing or whatever. But the DJs in Phoenix they were iconic. They're some of the best DJs. I'd be in the car, and that's how I got through that whole, that little emotional time in my life or whatever. Just jamming out to this DJ, just getting rid of the world. We didn't have a lot of money, and the radio was free. So in my opinion, I got to tune into these crazy good DJs for free. I thought it was such a treat. It was a treat to watch my dad work as well. Don't get it wrong, but once I heard these guys spinning on Power 98.3 in Phoenix and just killing it, people like M2, Chris Villa, Jaden, that had DJ Class on for a while. I can go on and on and on about Phoenix DJs, but once I heard that level, I was like, I want to be on that level one day, and here I am trying to pursue that dream. So
That's awesome, man. I love that you're a third generation DJ. That's pretty cool.
yeah,
It's kind of like a little family legacy type of thing going on. Like you can kind of relate
yeah,
to, and then you see it evolve over time. You see what your dad went through, and like how he came up, and like you see now with, social media is a big part of anything entertainment or really, I say small business, content creator, anything that anyone does. Social media plays such a big part of it, right? You have to promote yourself.
these days, yeah.
And back in the day, like you said, I also was listening to the radio all the time. And for my season 5 premiere of the podcast, I had a local to me legend, Coco from Coco on the
Okay.
Radio. And
Yeah.
she was my season 5 premiere.
She was I think I met her at Planet, right? She works on the country station right now.
Yep.
Yeah. She's cool.
Yeah, and so I actually told her like I grew up listening to her on the radio when I was younger, and I remember that was the first time I heard, besides music, conversations. Like they had like like the morning talk shows, and like they kind of had like a mini talk shows in between music, and that's the first time that I got kind of like sparked for that creativity of like, man, like the radio DJs and everyone kind of spun, like that's where podcasts came from. You know what I mean?
For sure, definitely, yeah.
And so I appreciate the art form so much, and I have so much respect for people like you, like DJs, and then not only that, but so much goes into that and promoting yourself. But you also MC, and so
Yeah.
that is you're basically hosting the party. You have to come with all the energy. You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
have to
A lot of energy, man.
because if
A
you
lot of
don't have that,
energy.
if you don't hype up, even if there's 5 people in the place or 100 people, 200, you kind of set the tone, right? And so
Yeah.
how
I'm
did you
glad
kind
you
of
get
go
it.
in? Yeah. How
'Cause,
did
man,
you kind
some
of?
people are just like, bro, your job's so great. I'm like, it is great. My job's great. It's not what I'm saying. This job's a lot of energy, man. Like
Yeah.
I've had some very laborious jobs, right? Like I've had some really grunty jobs. I was in the army. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I've done some, I've slept in foxholes and stuff like that. You know what I mean? A couple of times. And so it's like, even then, like the energy output because I don't want to do a bad job with this. I'm very passionate about this stuff and I want people to have a good time. And dude, it's a lot of energy. Like it drains my social battery. Like it's insane. My I don't know. I didn't prepare for that going into it when I switched over to doing like this full time. This is all I do now. You know what I mean? I just DJ and I do the MC thing or whatever and just get personality like 6-7 days a week. And man, I just find myself extremely exhausted putting out that energy sometimes, man. So I'm glad you recognize because some people just think like I just walk in the door and like just turn up. You know what I'm saying? It's
No.
not all of it. I mean, it's a great job. I get to turn up with you guys and have a great time. I'm not complaining, but man, it's the my social battery is drained. Like I don't have the problem sitting at home anymore. Don't want to go anywhere from that at work. Like I'm good.
Yeah, because your work is kind of like your it's like work and then you're having fun at the same time, but like you're outside, like you're social, like we're normal people, like with the normal, let's just say quote unquote normal 8 to 5 job.
Yeah.
Their escape is to go to places like Gemini and to go to these
Right.
places, local bars and pubs, and to kind of get their form of escapism. But like your job is to like create that environment for them. So it's like you're having fun while doing it. I'm sure your adrenaline's kind of pumping through you, and
Yeah.
then so like on your downtime, you're just like, dang, like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. It's like a candle that just got put out. You still have like the flame. It doesn't just turn off right away. It's like, and then it's
yeah,
like, you know, by the time I get home, it could be 3-4 o'clock in the morning, depending on if I'm getting paid that night or what happened, and what things we got to sort out, what do we got to talk about, future endeavors. You know what I mean? Ways to advertise, ideas for the future. So you never know. And so yeah, the hours are weird, but the most straining thing is that social battery. Like especially with the holidays, man. I had to apologize to my friends a couple times. It was just like trying to hang out normally. So when I had the chance with some of my friends, I'm like, man, I'm sorry, guys. I'm out of it. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm super out of it. Giving, I'm giving my all to people so much. You know what I mean? That I just sometimes I come home and I don't have a whole lot left to. I don't have a whole lot of creativity on the mind, and I just want to chill out.
yeah, I completely understand. So how did you kind of not transition, but kind of integrate the like you doing your mixes and being a DJ into hosting and emceeing? Like, how did that come about? Was that something that you're interested in again, or was that something that kind of was like you were like the
No,
opportunity
that was an
arose?
accident. Yeah, a lot of people a lot of people know me as an MC first, and a lot of people know me as a DJ first. Um, Seems like more people these days know me as the MC first because it's just what I was just kind of made an angle for myself here recently. But I totally consider myself a DJ first, like a DJ at heart. Got mad love for the DJs. Love the art form, like the way you love podcasts. Oh, by the way, so radio got you into podcasting? Is this like your thing, or is this like a side thing? Because
This
podcasting these days can be like a
uh
side thing.
so this is my side. This is just I've been doing podcasting for a very long time. Probably
Hell yeah!
for about maybe 8 years now, and
Wait, so
and
you're
so
making money for this, right?
it's paying some bills, but it's not my full.
Give me a high five.
It's
Give me
not
a
my
camera.
full.
Give me some.
It's
Give me
not my
some.
full time job.
Hell yeah!
I have a full time job, but I'm very creative, so I do podcasting and I also have books published, so I write books as well, and so
That's awesome, dude.
I
Hell
stay
yeah!
busy, man. But yeah, like
Hell yeah!
it's radio did and DJing influenced me to want to talk to people and kind of grow my social, like just my like network of people. I like to go somewhere, and wherever I go, I recognize someone. I talk to there's someone that I've interviewed or someone that has been on one of my other podcasts, and they're like, "Hey man, like we've met virtually," and so it's like good to just have that like that I don't know, just sense of community here in the
Yeah,
coastal
yeah,
bend,
it's
and so
excellent.
it's fun.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
super excellent. I'm glad you're taking pride in this stuff, man. I mean, living here, like a lot of people are frustrated, or they want to say some negative things about Corpus Christi. I'm like, I'm not from here, so I don't have that same like
Yeah.
resentment. I think it's a great place, man. I think it's a great market size. I think it's a great place for anybody doing anything to get started. I was like, this it's not like a super small town where you are limited on opportunity. It's not such a big town where you get engulfed in all this opportunity. It's like the right size place, man. I think it's I think with the right perception, this place is like very vital. You know what I'm saying? It could be very vital. It already has been, but I think like going into the future, you know what I'm saying? Once we get all this construction, all this stuff done, maybe like a decade down the road, this place could be super vital, especially being the coastal bend where a lot of these kids want to come visit the beach or whatever. But aside from that, I would love to see the city just be really focused on like youth, on like the future, because I think this
Mm.
is such a. I've lived in a lot of places around the country, and like this is such a great place for someone to get started and to do anything. Like you want to do anything, start in Corpus Christi. Why not? You know what I mean? Come on.
Yeah. And I have this conversation quite a bit on the podcast, so where I talk about like that's what kind of reason why I started this podcast in particular, where I highlight people. It was I was focused just on the coastal bend, but I've since kind of stretched it out into
Okay, right on.
the state of Texas now,
Yeah,
because Corpus to me is like gets such a bad rap. And when I was younger, I remember saying like, "Oh, I hate Corpus," but until you go out and look for things, you don't realize like, damn, there's always something happening here. If
yeah,
you look for it, there's
excellent.
events all the time. There's it's kind of scary
Yeah,
because of COVID now, right? It's a little people are kind of timid with that,
yeah. I
but
mean, fair
we
enough.
have
Fair enough.
we have
Yeah,
to adapt. You have to adapt,
exactly. Yeah,
So get your
gotta live your
mask
life, man.
and get your mask and go outside and go to one of these markets that are popped up there's markets every weekend somewhere.
Yeah. And these people
And
need these people need they need the I mean I wouldn't say not help, but they need the support. They need the
yep.
support. I've done a lot of these local vendors now where I go DJ for some of these markets and stuff like that, and it's great. It's like it's just a bunch of people trying to make it on their own. You know what I'm saying? It's super, and they're putting in a lot of time and effort for this stuff. You know what I mean? They have great. There's a lot of people out in this city that have great products, that have great ambition, that are really providing something unique. You know what I mean? And it's worth it. I know that there is a crazy like obviously we're living through crazy times, but man, I mean, there's not a whole lot you can say about that. Some people have different perceptions or whatever, but I'm like you. I'm like, dude, if you can, if you're healthy, get out there and support these people. You're missing out on some really awesome stuff that Corpus Christi is providing. And if people have that negative perception about Corpus, like you said, maybe growing up, maybe all they got to do is get out to a couple of these local events, and we got to keep spreading the word because there's a lot of awesome stuff happening in the city, man. It's special, you know.
Yeah, for sure. And so, kind of circling back to your DJ thing, what is it about DJing that what is it about it that like that art form that excites you and that makes you want to continue and do that and um like yeah, just what keeps you entertained in that?
Well, like we talked about, man. Well, a little before we went live with this thing, like we stay busy. So I've
Yeah.
been so that's been. I mean, since the holidays, dude. Like just yesterday, I woke up and I was like, man, I'm gonna have a normal day. I'm gonna have a normal day. I went for a run, meal prepped. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I walked my dog twice, walked Lily twice. I was like, man, I got time
Mm.
for things, and I had to sit down and there's a lot of behind the scenes DJ stuff that DJs have to do, stand on top of their music and organizing their laptop and their hard drives and all that stuff and make sure their equipment is all up to date. Just a lot of that stuff. So I would say recently, that's what's been keeping me just the sheer, just how busy I've been. I'm just very grateful. Never thought when I was it took me a lot. I mean, I've always been into DJing. I've always been pressing buttons. I mean, since high school, man. I had my first gig in high school. But that's the sheer success of it isn't pushing me. lately. I've only been doing this full time since the last go around of spring. So last spring is really when I did the mix for Z95 and for
Hmm.
Chris and stuff. I was literally trying to do a freaking on phone interview with him for Z, and I'm working at a restaurant still at the time. I'm on the border and I'm bartending and I'm in a liquor cabinet, and they needed me to work a bunch of extra crazy hours, and I'm because it's spring break time, but I'm also like this DJ life is starting to engulf me, so I'm like getting all these gigs for springtime, and then like I said, like trying to meet talk to Chris Fonseca on the phone, and I'm in the liquor cabinet, and this lady was not happy. She was how do we say, like a Karen, like it was like a Karen, and she wasn't very happy. Granted, when you're in the service industry, you gotta there's no excuses. People, you just gotta
Yeah.
put your head down and say yes and go. I was very preoccupied. She was just like, "Are you not happy to be here?" I'm like, as a matter of fact, I was like, I quit. I was like, just like a movie. I was like mid shift. I was like threw the apron off. I was like, I'm out. I got things to do. Trying to go talk to Chris Fonseca and be on. That was a big deal for me being on the to mix on the air, because I was an on air personality for Planet 102.3, but to mix for Z95, especially during the traffic jam, that was like a big deal for me. Especially like when I was telling you, like when I was a kid coming up listening to these DJs and mixing on the air and stuff. It was a big deal. It was a big full circle for me. So I wasn't gonna let that opportunity slide because of On the Border. And I apologize to my friends
Yeah.
on the border. I was like, my bad, man, because I know like when someone does that, like you got to pick up extra shifts, and it's kind of a nightmare for everybody working there. So I kind of apologize about it being so dramatic. But this DJ thing has engulfed me, and that's what has kept me going. Like I didn't think I could just do this full time for the longest time. I don't know why. I don't know why I didn't give I always thought, like in the back of my head, like eventually I'll let myself do it. Eventually I'll let myself do it. It just came to that. I had to have my back against the wall, kind of a feeling for it to happen. And ever since I did that, it's been nonstop, and it's been surprising. And that's what I'm just very grateful that I get to do something that I like to do. I don't really clock in anymore. I pretty much set my own schedule, and on a lot of levels, I'm more successful in this than anything else I've ever done in my entire life. So it's just a blessing. I'm just still in this. I hope it never fades away, but I'm just still in this very grateful phase of this career, I guess now that this path with DJing and stuff. So I'm just very happy. I'm very happy to be busy, but I'm also very happy to be incorporated with to meet so many people, to be integrated, part of weddings, quinces, grand openings, holidays at clubs, special events. It's an honor, man. It's an honor to be a part, because you're sharing, pivotal moments with people and their lives. You know what I'm saying? I get to be a part of that. So I'm grateful. I'm happy. I'm always overwhelmed that people choose me to be a part of their big days. You know what I mean? So nice.
Mhm. Yeah, for sure. I think that that was the right thing to do. Like, I mean, like you said, it's kind of tough because it puts the workload on someone else.
Yeah,
But
I felt bad.
sometimes it's okay to be selfish for yourself. Like you have to, when there's a door open, sometimes you need to jump in. Like you need to run towards that door before it gets shut, because you don't ever know when the next
Yeah,
door is going to open, and it's scary sometimes. But I've said this 100 times, and I literally will say it to myself, like if you're not scared to do something, like once you are scared to do something, you're heading in the right path. If something
yeah,
scares you, you're doing
yeah,
the right thing. Just follow your gut. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
you did exactly that. You're like, you know what? I'm gonna, like, you kind of chose yourself at that moment. And that look at, like you said, here we are almost going into a year later, and you have a steady kind of flow of business happening, right? And so that's a good thing.
yeah.
What would you say to someone that's interested in maybe DJing or hosting or emceeing? What would you just like, if you had to give some advice for people that are listening that are interested in it but they haven't pulled the trigger? Um, what are some words of advice that you'd give someone kind of start up like?
Um, man, yeah, that's a great question. I think if I was giving myself advice, So the biggest piece of advice would kind of go along the lines of what you were saying. Pull that trigger. You just got to pull that trigger, man. Give it a shot. Um, a big reason for me though why I didn't pull the trigger for so long was I was in the army. I couldn't. I tried to have gigs steadily when I was in the army, and I was always gone for stuff. You can't. This job that leads me into my next point though. Pull the trigger, but consistency is everything. Consistency is everything, and I think that goes beyond DJing, emceeing, whatever you want to do. You got to be a consistent product. You got to put out. You can't. I haven't missed a single weekend at Gemini aside from COVID stuff since I started working there 3 years now. So it's a grind, man. And if you're not willing to the entertainment business is sacrifice, and you have to be consistent. That's the biggest piece of advice I can get. That's reality. The reality of entertainment, I have an awesome job. The reality of it is I don't get to travel a lot. I mean, when I go out of town, it's very quick here and there. During the week, I got to make time for it if I want to do something like that. Usually, it's because I have to. I'm trying to go pick up another piece of equipment or something like that. Yeah, you sacrifice a lot of those when your friends are going out and stuff like that, or you want to be a part of a family event or something like that. I don't know. I don't really have a lot of family in town or anything, but similar things. You're gonna sacrifice a lot of that time. Your nights are gone. Your hours are weird. Just the preparation for it all. You know what I'm saying? I would just point those things out. I started learning those things. Obviously a lot more as I just started rolling with the punches. I was like, oh yeah. I was like, I don't get any. They don't get vacations. I am the vacation. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no breaks. You know what I'm saying? And I've gone through several I don't know, man, just dips. I want to say panic attacks, maybe. I don't know, man. When you it's a grind, man. It's a different kind of grind, this entertainment thing. You know how it is, man. You're putting together an awesome show, and you got to put in the work. And in your show, man, you got to provide a consistent product, or else you should fall off. And consistency is everything in the entertainment business. So anybody trying to do entertainment, it's awesome. It's cool, but just prepare yourself for the reality, for the workload of it, and be a consistent product. That's all. That's the biggest piece of advice I can give.
Yeah, for sure. So for everybody that is personal and close to me knows that I am obsessed with Beyonce. Like my life revolves
Okay, yeah.
And so I have this tattoo, can't really see it, and
Let me see that.
it's like a little queen bee tattoo with
Oh, that's dope.
the pyramid, kind
Yeah.
of
I like that.
hinting with the
That's
Illuminati
cool.
or whatever. But and
You believe in the
so
Illuminati? Is that real? Should I be
no,
worried?
it's kind
Is Jay-Z
of like
coming for me?
it's kind of like a joke,
Happening.
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And so, and inside the little crown above the B, it says WWBD. Like, what would Beyonce do? Because
Yo.
she, in so many of her interviews, she's like, if I say I'm tired, that gives everyone around me an
Yeah.
opportunity to say they're tired. And
Real.
so, she'll sleep. Like I told you before, I think before we started recording, I slept a few hours. I got up. I
Yeah.
had to go to the gym this morning because I'm improving my fitness over the past,
That's
I
what's
don't
up,
know,
man.
over the past few
Good for
months.
you.
I've lost 40 pounds,
That's what's
and
up,
so,
Abel. Get it,
yeah,
bro. Hell yeah. Hell
yeah.
yeah.
And so, that's important to me now. And it also has helped with mental health and all this stuff. And so, every day when I'm tired and I'm up late recording, people don't see like you said, the entertainment business, like podcasting, DJing, being an artist, writing books. People don't see behind the scenes stuff. Like after we record, you go on. You said you have a full day ahead of you. I
Yeah.
go on. I think I don't know how many more podcasts today. Like every 45 minutes, I have a podcast today, and then
That's what's up.
they don't see the
That's crazy.
editing. They don't see
Yeah.
behind the scenes, right? They don't see
Yeah.
we have to edit. We have to not only edit, but we have to create social media content for that and plan it. And so I
Yeah.
do my social media content's planned a month in advance. So all of my social media posts are done like a
Damn, good
month
for
in
you.
advance.
That's
But
good.
people don't see that grind. So when you say
Yeah.
when people want to get into this industry of any kind, of being an artist, of being a content creator, you have to be able to. I have a full-time job, and I do all of this
Mm-hmm.
on the side. And so people don't realize you have to make time for what you love. And then you, like you said,
Yeah.
there's going to be days
Big.
that you said it earlier, your friends invite you to dinner, but you're like, you know what, man, for me, I can't go because I gave all of myself to everyone else today. And like
Yeah.
for today, I like these couple of hours. You know what? I'm gonna lay in bed and watch Netflix. You know what I mean? Because I need
Well,
to
that's what
like
you got to do, man.
you
Yeah,
know
you got to
to
do what you got to do.
recharge the battery for the next day.
Recharging the battery is crucial. You got to be an influence, right? If you want to
Yeah.
be, if you want to be if you want to be in this industry, you gotta find ways to recharge because people don't, it's just like anything else. They don't care, bro. They don't care. They need you. They want you to be excited. They want you to be happy. They don't care how bad a day you had. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
They. But part of my recharging strategy now, I got this little girl. Her name's Lily.
Oh, there you
Yeah,
go.
that's
She's
why
the
if I've been
man.
looking down at the floor, she's been at my feet and stuff. I don't mean to be rude or interrupt, but
Yeah.
she's at the crib, so I take care of her, and she likes to hang out with me and stuff like that. So she's been pretty big
She's a
in the recharging process for me.
Yeah, she's a good
So,
dog because she's been quiet this whole time. My dogs, I had to put them outside because they're
oh
wild.
yeah,
Like they'll
oh
hear
yeah.
you through my AirPods and they'll just start like, I'm
Who's
like,
that? Who's
okay,
that?
y'all. Yeah, they get
Yeah,
excited quickly. So,
she has her
but
moments, but she's a good girl for the most part. Yeah,
yeah, so I can relate. I'm a dog dad. I have 4 dogs and my babies too. So,
yeah.
shout out to
It
the
is.
dog
Yeah,
dads
it's a
out
lot of
there.
work. Yeah, shout out to the fur dads and moms out there.
Yeah.
Um, God forbid somebody like the biggest thing automatically comes to mind though, somebody with the kids. Like I have a kid. Well, I'm like, I'm a kid, but I got a dog, and it's like
Yeah.
it's a terrible argument. It's a terrible argument because I'm like, if I have things to do, I just put her in the kennel. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? But so it's
That's
like
exactly what I do.
but it's like it's a weird place for pet owners. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's a lot of work. She's a lot of work, man. Like she's you know how it is. And I got her when she's my first baby. I've always had dogs when I was like a year old,
Okay.
and I
That's a whole
fostered a dog
different
at a year.
thing.
She was a baby. So yeah, a lot of doctor visits, a lot of money, a lot of this, a
Waking
lot
up
of
in the middle of
that.
the night.
Yeah,
She
yeah.
likes
So
to, she probably doesn't, people, that's what I'm saying. Like people with kids, like I couldn't, I'm not a parent. I don't know that I want to be one, but like I'm a dog parent and I know like, I'm like, I understand, but does your kid doctor visit? I know
yeah,
your kid's doctor visits. I know my vet bills. I know how much that costs.
yeah,
But
yeah.
does your kid's haircut cost $150?
Right,
Because
right,
my
right. There's
dog's
some things,
haircuts
man.
cost $150. So,
She's
you
and this
know,
one right here. She a little bougie girl.
yeah.
She a little bougie one. She has to have all the good stuff, all the good foods, all the good stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's
So,
a good girl. But yeah, it's always that's always my thing. Is like I got her to help me be better at home, to help me work from the house and not be not lose my mind because I just live here by myself. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And
something you have to, she kind of grounds you because you have to, you know, that you have to go back home to her. Like you got to spend time with her.
yeah,
You
a
have
lot
to
of that.
nurture her. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
she needs time. She will let me know if I like right now. She's getting real antsy. She's like, "Why aren't you holding me?" She's like, "What's going on? Who are you talking to?" If I put her down right now, she's like, "Want to be up there? Come on,
well,
love me."
welcome to the podcast, Lily. Right? You said Lily was her name.
Hey,
Welcome to the
what's up?
podcast,
Say hi,
Lily.
Lily. Hi, Mama. Yeah,
And so before we wrap, now's the time for you to kind of plug anything and everything you'd like. So where can people find you, your social media handles, all that good stuff?
man. Honestly, I don't even have that many followers or anything like that. I'm very grateful for followers I have. I was super late to all the social media stuff. Super late. Was never my cup of tea. Honestly, still kind of isn't. I appreciate it a lot more now. Before I started doing this full time, I did not give enough credit
Hmm.
to how much work the social media game is. Like before, I was just like a lot of people in the army. Like, look at this girl who's 10,000
Yeah.
followers. Like, just because she's a girl. I'm like, no, it's because she busts her ass. Somewhat. I mean,
Yeah.
some doubt to that too. Some girls are out there some girls are just very attractive and they get help that way. But no, there's some girls that have it all going on. Yeah, she's an attractive female and that helps. But these people, not just females, but everybody's busting their ass to try and live life on their own terms. And that's something I just didn't realize until I got into this game. So yeah, follower support would be cool if you get a chance. If not, I'm busy. So I mean, I got 480 followers, and that's grateful for them because they keep me busy. So I'm not dissing my followers, love my followers. But if you want to follow me on Instagram, it's at Rocky the DJ, double R. Because somebody else, there's one other guy, Rocky the DJ, and he's doing nothing. Is there a way? Can I buy his account or something? Can
No,
I like?
you
I'm
can't do
so.
it. Believe me, dude.
Oh
I've
my
looked into it
god.
because I have my own personal Instagram, but it's actually like
Yeah.
my author Instagram, and my name is Abel Zuna, and so I wanted to get my handle Abel Zuna because I have the website
Uh-huh.
abelzuna.com, and
Yeah.
there's a page on Instagram that's been around for years, and they haven't posted anything.
Right. I'm
And
like, dude, you're wasting the name. Like, what are you
I
doing?
reported it, and there's nothing we can do.
Damn. I keep hoping that it'll pop up, but yeah. So mine has the double R because the other Rocky, the DJ, I don't even know if I don't know what he's doing, but if you ever watch this podcast, Mister One R Rocky the DJ, better start making use of that name. It's an excellent
Yeah.
name. But yeah, I'm double R Rocky the DJ on Instagram. I don't really have I really don't do TikTok. I should because that's where it's popping.
Oh,
But I
that'd
have
be
like
good for
enough.
you. That'd be real
Yeah,
good for you.
I know. TikTok is popping and stuff. But dude, it took me long enough to like get into the Instagram game. You know, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not as savvy with it as a lot of these people are. But like I said, I mean, things are going well. So it's like I was stressed about it hard when I first went over full time with the social media stuff. I'm not paying attention to it. I'm on it every day, just like everybody else. But yeah, I still get people DMing me every day about doing some kind of business. So very grateful for that. If anybody is following me or whatever, I'm very grateful to have you guys for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, and I will have the link to Rocky's Instagram in the show notes. So all you'll have to do is scroll down and click on it, and it'll take you straight to his
Yeah,
Instagram.
thanks,
And
man.
yeah, so it'll be that easy for our listeners. So again, Rocky, thank you very much for your time today. I
Thank you.
appreciate having you on. Lily, it was nice to meet you.
Goodbye,
and
mama.
uh, for all of our listeners out there, wherever you are listening, please head out to your community, make a change, and do something positive. Have a great day,
Yeah,
everyone.
yeah. Take care.